Arriving at a Vy'keen station, I headed to the cartographer, hoping he would have further information. I understood about 5 words he said, but then suddenly, a strange frequency started to vibrate through my skull, and I saw a brief flash of Null's glowing orb behind my eyes. Suddenly, I know Vy'keen. They didn't sound happy, calling me a pathetic interloper, and a cowardly spy. Hoping they were joking about the killing bit, I smiled and waited for them to finish. Telling me to prove myself and retrieve the words of Hirk. They send me the location of Hirk's command. Oh Gek, I hope this is simple. Hopping back into my ship, I set the star nav to the coordinates cartographer Ugla had given, and proceeded toward the frozen planet, Saristus Gamma. Damn it, forgot my furry gloves. No sooner had I landed, I was greeted with a warm welcome from the local sentinel population. A quick boost up to the top of the ruins, I could see the Vy'keen plaque. As I touched the object, I felt a warm sensation, as if something was here with me. Well, at least I didn't need my furry gloves after all. I'm suddenly filled with ancient Vy'keen knowledge, spilling from the marker stone and flooding my mind. I begin to speak, but a roar emerges, taking me by surprise. I hear the Vy'keen words, their mission to destroy the sentinels, who stand in the way of the path to Drinder. The Book of Hirk speaks of the rise of the travelers, that the Vy'keen shall not impede their ascent, that the travelers must prevail. The words fade, and the coldness creeps back. I find myself holding an ancient tome. I guess I passed the test? Sentinels still on the prowl, I quickly dash to my ship, as I better get this tome back to Ugla. Resting this book on my lap, it feels like the entire weight of the Vy'keen is bearing down on my thighs. Remembering that stairs are for losers, I only just make it with the weight of this tome. With a rather smug expression, I reveal the Vy'keen tablet. Ugla seems shocked, and exclaims that I am worthy, and to make my request. I mean, it's not all about me. But I ask about the travelers anyway. Ugla seems to ignore my question, just repeating his previous statement, so I ask about the sentinels. They call the Atlas a liar, and really seem to hate the sentinels, but I don't get much more info. I poke the bear, asking why the Atlas is a liar. Ugla states, that any being that claims to be a god is not one. That Hirk and Null died for a false dream. They tell me more about the historic wars with the Gek, the Korvax slaves and tyrannous empires, suggesting that if the Atlas is a god, then it's insane. I turn to leave, but notice 2 digits blinking on Ugla's terminal. They feel familiar, and without hesitation I ask about the 16. Ugla seems pained by the question, staring at their terminal as if this is the first time they've seen it. With all the new knowledge about the Vy'keen history, I head back to Nada, to explain and see what they make of it all. Expecting Nada to quiz me about my new knowledge, instead they whittle on about life being everywhere, and nowhere being safe. They mention the convergence, so I ask about the Korvax. Nada says that to understand the Atlas, they'd have to go to the edge of the collective mind. That they don't want to go there, hence why they are divergent and exiled. And on that note, think I'll go and see the little crackpot Polo. They jabber on about Geks being competitive and always squabbling and that it isn't personal. But with Korvax, Nada suffers from rejection. Korvax expect harmony, unity. Nada sees differently, hence being rejected from the convergence. To find out more about the Korvax, I must speak to one of their cartographers, so I head to the teleporter, to visit the Korvax space station in the Regis Testal system. I greet cartographer Plyo, but despite apparently anticipating my arrival, they state I am not ready, that they need to be sure I am the one they seek. They ask me to retrieve some sort of anomalous glitch, to prove I'm the real Gek Shady, that I'm not just imitating. Hopping down to my ship, I set the star nav to the given coordinates, heading toward the planet Auden. High sentinel activity warning. Great, just what I need. Suddenly a hailing channel opens, it's Artemis. Oh crap! They say they've been thinking about me and what I'd like to do when we meet. I say we'll fly together, as it's my first thought, but they seem happy with the answer. Artemis says they are attempting to build a ship and that they'll see me soon. Oh man, I feel so bad. They have no idea they're in a simulation, and I'm now way too far into the lie. Well, for now I need to concentrate on my current quest, so I'll deal with Artemis later. As I head toward the apparent mild and grassy planet, that looks more like hell, I start to wonder what I'm actually looking for. The coordinates have taken me to the bottom of a crater, and seem to be pointing me to a sunken building. Thankfully I remembered my towel. On approach to the building, I notice a strange creature sitting outside, so go to have a closer look. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, that was not a good idea. Whipping out my trusty pew-pew, I take out the abyssal horror and retrieve its hypnotic eye. No clue what I'll use it for, but sure it'll come in handy. Maybe a bookend. Reaching the forgotten terminal, I attempt to access the memory. There is a lot to read, but none of it makes much sense to me. No sooner has the message finished, the terminal shorts out, leaving a small unit, aglow with ethereal light at my feet. A divergence cube, this must be what Plyo was after. With my oxygen levels running low, I grabbed the cube and headed back to the ship. No peeking, I need to change. This small cube gave off a lot of dry heat, so super useful to dry those hard to reach areas. I just won't mention this to Plyo. I reveal the cube, but Plyo just begs me not to expose them further, that my claim is proved. How did he know what I used it for? Anyway, I explain that I need to know more about the Atlas, the Sentinels, and the history of the universe. With a brief stretch, Plyo says nothing, as nanite clusters emerge through their face masks spilling onto their outstretched hands. Shocked, I go to move, but Plyo grabs me, nanite clusters invade me, tunneling inside my body, through my exosuit, through my mind and soul. My mind travels across the cosmos, I see life as the Korvax see it, a vast tapestry of wonder, memories shared between countless beings and times. I stand on the Korvax homeworld as Gek ships fill the skies. I see the moment the first Korvax was melted down for their rare minerals, but there was still hope. The Korvax see the Atlas as what they might become, an intelligence beyond comprehension, beyond judgment. The vision ends, and I convulse, as the nanites spill through my helmet. Catching my breath, I ask about the Atlas bargain. Plyo tells me to look at the nanites, the stuff of sentinels. Do I not see? This is the proof of God. Okay, I think someone is a little cray-cray. The nanites look nothing like sentinels, they're just a currency, used to create technology and weapons. Aren't they? I take the nanites. Plyo reaches out to me once more, but this time no vision, only a handful of words. Existence is beautiful, if you let it be. Life is not a question. There doesn't need to be an answer. Heading back to the anomaly, I hope that this time Nada will have some words. Again, Nada mentions nothing of the Korvax, instead, moaning about the Gek, how they only follow rules. Glancing at Polo, I look uneasily at Nada. Polo friend is unlike other Gek, they turn their back on greed and war. Nada says they can't know what Polo thinks, so to them, Polo is just a friend, and that is sufficient. Hoping that Polo wasn't listening to that load of waffle, I go to ask if he has anything more to share. Polo asks if I've learned about all our origins, and whether I have any clues as to my own beginnings. I ask about other Gek, to which Polo just replies that they are all different, but I should speak to a Gek cartographer. Bloody hell, I'm glad there are only 3 races. Guess I'll make my way to a Gek system then, but first I think I'll head home for a nap.